Hello and welcome to the Beet Goes On Podcast. And I always say that this is a special episode, but this really, really is a special episode. We are sitting at the Rail Pub with Trina Brown.
Hello.
I go way back here. In fact, I met her because I was a frequent patron and I worked next door. But later in life, we bonded in other ways. And yeah, I'll let her introduce herself and tell. I think we should just go right into the beginning, like the bar. Tell about the bar and then tell how it started.
Yeah, just talk to me. I was young. I was 24, I think. 23, 24 when I came to Savannah, 1989. My math might be wrong. Somebody can do that for me. And then I was hanging out downtown with a bunch of food and beverage folks. And there was talk about opening up a bar. And there was 4 of us. And eventually the first 2 fell off. They decided not to open. And me and Melissa Swanson, known as Swanee to most people, decided to get into this little pub downstairs. And we found this building that was dilapidated, almost condemned, and started the process to figure out how to open a business and open a bar. And we didn't really have a ton of experience opening. Melissa Swanee had been a bartender for many, many years. I was only a bartender for about a year. Mm-hmm. So I was coming more with my Navy background. Mm-hmm. I was in the U.S. Navy for 8 years. That's how I arrived in Savannah. And
so how did that help? Like, what do you think that's the skills you learned from the Navy brought into?
I learned discipline, and I learned the devil was in the details. Mm-hmm. I learned consistency. I learned pros and cons about authority. Mm-hmm. You know, I was brought up in the top-down management. You know, you do this. Why aren't you doing that? Mm-hmm. There was pros to that, and there was also cons to that. However, I learned structure and how to execute a plan. So if we're going to put out a fire on a boat, on a ship, we need certain training. Mm-hmm. We need certain checks and balances. And so I brought those organized structure items to the chaos of the bar world.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's needed in the bar world. And then what was Swanee's balance with that? Like, what is her background?
Her background she had a degree in recreation therapy. Mm-hmm. And so she did.
Also very helpful.
Yes. She did recreation programs for youth at risk. She was a youth at risk counselor in Savannah. And she also dealt with special needs. And so she dealt with her parents and all that situation and the kids and all of their special needs. And then you had the youth at risk. And so she dealt with people on the fly quite a bit. A lot of situations in the moment, in the present moment, and very creative. So
she is very creative.
Yeah. So, you show me a brick and I'm going to say that's a brick, and you give it to her and she's going to go, look, it's a potato head. Look, it's look, it's an orangutan, and so she's going to see things in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting to that part of my life. After 29 years of bar business, I'm just starting to open
But she is
that
very
up.
much like that.
Yeah.
So the Rail is a fun bar. It's more than fun. It's like, I don't know, it just has an energy and a vibe to it that is truly special. And anyone that steps foot in here feels that way.
That's
and people, when they come here, it's like the home bar. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, if I go anywhere else, I could get dressed up to the nines, go to somewhere fancy, and then I'd be like, I'd end up here. Because it's a pub, don't, if you think you just like stay swanky, but I would go to my swanky thing and then I'd come right back here.
Yeah, we always say, well, what is it about this particular place? I say, well, me and Swanee are Gen Xers, so our environments growing up were Christmas parties, home parties, and it was make people feel comfortable when you come in, and that's your job. I spent a lot of Christmases at my grandmother's, and people having cocktails and dancing and just enjoying the environment, and her as well. And it was like, let's make this like our grandparents' living room.
Yeah.
It
is. I've never heard you say that. It so is. And then so I've been to many themed nights here.
Oh yeah.
So there's lots of different themes.
Yeah.
I was in a pumpkin carving contest here. Mine was terrible. I'm trying to think of, there's so many creative, they have karaoke so people can hear it in the courtyard.
We did helium karaoke. We did helium karaoke for many years. Yeah.
And that's something that is an experience that people like, if you're looking up places to do and you hear that there's helium karaoke,
like,
it's going to win.
Yeah.
And you guys were here before. I mean, you guys have been here the longest standing, but also when I started coming here, which you had already been open for quite some time, but when I started coming here, it was like it was off the beaten path. I worked on River Street and it was like, wait, what? We're going to Congress Street. Yep. We're going to Congress Street to bar because it was like there were more bars on Broughton Street back then, and then River Street, and then
there was no street lights.
Bay Street was way more popular back when hip huggers. Well, that's where I was going when I was
on Bay Street.
Yeah. So then it was like, oh, now let's go to the rail. And I remember thinking, what is that? And then when I got here, I was like, oh my gosh. And I don't know who did your hiring back then, but every single man was beautiful. So of course I said,
Sonny's like, come here. She's like, hey, you come here.
Which is actually how we became close because I dated Kellen, who worked here for years and years, and the military brought him here. So super funny. But yeah, I don't know who was doing all the hiring. Nothing against anyone that works here now, but they were all bearded, tall, beautiful eyes, just
sexy.
Yes, it was, and they would dress in. I mean, they would wear Speedos to work.
Yeah,
so
they had fun.
They had a lot of fun, a lot of themes. They would come up with themes on their own.
Yes.
Like it spilled over what you guys brought to the bar. Your staff, when I was coming here more often. When I didn't work a million jobs or do have all the stuff I have on my plate now, I would be here at least 3 times a week. No joke.
Yeah,
and
we would see people quite often before the expansion of Savannah. We'd see the same people over and over again. It was a really good time.
And it spilled over. I mean, the staff was fun. They'd come up with their own dress-alike nights to go. A lot, they'd have their own theme. It still is such a fun place. I was just here Friday night. I went to a show at Ships of the Sea, which is right by here, and came over here afterwards and played darts. I will say it's the hardest place to play darts in town, but people still do it.
I'm amazed. I'm like, okay, you want to play darts in here?
It's also, so people like hardcore dart players are like, that's the worst placement of a dartboard ever. But what I found out on Friday night is it's also a great way to meet people.
It is,
because you have to say, excuse me, and then they stand there and watch you. So we made tons of friends. So I think the bar, the way it's set up, which is probably on purpose, but also on accident, it really is easy to meet people here.
Yeah. It's both. It's accident and on purpose. Trying to find a small square footage place like this and make it intimate without it being too claustrophobic is a fun game to play.
Do y'all still do fires in the fireplace in winter?
This year we got electric fire
I remember thinking
placeholders. We've had gas, we've had coal.
Yep.
We burn coal, we burn wood, and this year we bought the modern world has brought us with heated electric fireplaces, and so that's what we're using now. Yeah. It's a little easier to flip a switch.
But you got some work out of those fireplaces.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That is too funny. Okay, so how long? So we were actually talking about this earlier before we got on here. So Trina has been in and out, like taking turns with Swanee
over the years, over the decades,
which I think is healthy and why it's still standing.
And sometimes
they equally.
Yeah, sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it's planned, and sometimes it's just life unfolding and adapting and stepping up.
Yeah, and that's always been impressive to me is it hasn't lost its charm. There's been some things that have been added, but it's still the same. It still feels like the exact same place. You see places that evolve and pivot, but they change.
Right.
This remains the same, but and has that same special vibe. But you had to recently come back into it because we have a lot of business owners that listen to this podcast. So she was saying that she stepped away. She kind of was not. I mean, puppeteers were her words. Like she was involved in the business, but she wasn't front face. So you had to step in and do that after all these years.
Yeah, I was gravitating towards admin and financial planning and long-term goals. And we had a general manager, we had Swanee tag teaming it with him, and then we had a couple of senior key holder bartender managers, and we all made it through COVID together. We all made it through those 3 years, and then folks wanted to have more traditional hours, and so the GM left and a couple of the key holders left. And then Melissa Swanee had to take a leave of absence. And there was me. And I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't know if I could be front of the house and back of the house and get us geared up for St. Patrick's Day. And so
I didn't even think about that, St. Patrick's Day. If you
That's a
don't
whole
know, St.
different-
Patrick's Day is ginormous in Savannah.
Yeah.
And this is the bar people want to come to. And you guys really do it up. You have a breakfast,
Yes,
right?
8 a.m. We open at 8 a.m. for breakfast.
And then
it's a
close
month's worth
at
of
3
business.
a.m..
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
it's a long day. For on a what do you call it, a shoestring of staff.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people from out of town come in and fill in. But yeah, so I stepped into it. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. I have a different style, and I haven't had practice in a very long time because I think the last time I was front of the house was 2017. So it had been 5 years since I had been front of the house, and I just took it one step at a time. It was very interesting. I felt like it was, running an after-school program kind of because everybody has a different personality. Everyone has different needs, and I have my own needs. And so it's been about 8 months or so like that.
Management's really hard.
It is.
I know. I get it.
I'm kind of grateful that I got to step into that again because it made me really appreciate the people that are really good at it, that don't let the tough days get to them, or if they do, they know how to work through it.
Right.
Dealing with people right now in particular, I'm sure it was always challenging, but there's a lot going on in the world and a lot going on with people's lives, and the workplace has become the community place to sort it out for folks. And it's not just this business, but I've talked to accountants, I've talked to janitors. I mean, I've talked to all kinds of industry, and they're all going through the same psychological, emotional metamorphosis along with their staff. And everybody's trying to figure out their life and figure out what the purpose of life is.
And I love that you talk to people and find that out, because some people would just feel closed up and alone.
Yeah.
Which is why I love this podcast, because no one's alone. Like they feel we're all going through it the same. It feels the same, but it's different things causing it. But the world has changed. There's some weird stuff that we're all having to adapt to now.
I have gone home in this year, 2023, 2024, to give perspective, because you could see what's going on and see all the positive, but it doesn't come without its challenges. And
Right.
so, you don't have to do what I do, but I do have a business coach. I do have a therapist. I do have a spiritual advisor. And it's not like, I have to get all these things, but these kind of things evolved as I needed guidance, and I needed a way to be there for my business and for the people in my business.
And for yourself.
Because I'm a human, and I'm like, I need help, and where do I get my help from, and who do I talk to? And take long walks on the beach, and sit on my couch and just stare at the sun, rising and falling, read a good book, and take a vacation. Sometimes it's a cruise with all you can eat food and all you can drink, and sometimes it's a walkabout to be alone and to kind of clear your head,
which is so important. And coming out of bartending, I appreciate that I've always appreciated my conversations with Trina. I'm just throwing that out there. One time we sat at the Grove, and she made me feel, when I came out of bartending, I was coming out of bartending, I was doing real estate. Her and Trina gave me one of my first listings, and my business was growing, and I felt just like, imposter syndrome's like the word for it, but it feels like so much more than that. And to sit down with someone who I looked up to with a successful business, make me feel like a real human for all those things, was really special for me at the time. Like I needed to hear those words at the time, that you have the same shit going on in your head that I do. And that's why I think, and I have the last 2 years had to work on myself too, and realize it's called self-soothing, and I can't be a good mom. I can't be a good business owner. I can't be a good friend. I can't be a good leader without first taking care of myself and doing the things like you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to be reminded of that, so I think we're in our 29th, almost 30th year. And
Which is
even
crazy.
though we know this and we're talking about it now, needing reminders to say, oh, that's right, I need to have some solitude. I need to reset. And more now than ever, ensuring that I take care of myself and my inside and out health, whatever that looks like for me, so I can show up.
Did you ever feel the opposite? Like, I know there was a part of my life where I felt I just had to work. I had to work and I had to be going. And if I wasn't doing that, I felt guilty. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I like work. I like to do something, be engaged with something. That being said, yes, there's a lot of my life where if I'm not working or facilitating the work, I feel like I'm letting someone down, or I'm not being responsible enough to not only to the business, but like my father passed away like many, many, many years ago. But it's like that voice saying, you know, don't let people down, don't let the business down. You know, when I had a paper route, it was like people are depending on that newspaper. You can't be lazy and not go deliver the newspapers.
Right.
So, you know, it was like, okay, those people are depending on me. And it's only now kind of like balancing, okay, people are depending on me, and how can I possibly execute this task and make sure I don't overextend myself?
Right.
It's never perfect. It's never a straight line. But yeah, and am I good enough? Am I good enough to do this well? Am I good enough to be a good business owner, a good friend, a good aunt? You know, all of those thoughts come through my head.
I just read
often.
the book Worthy, which is Jamie Kern-Lima. She has a beauty
yeah.
business, and she sold
I've
it
seen
to
her speak before.
L'Oreal. And she's speaking at Tony Robbins, I think.
I've seen her speak before.
Yeah, and we both like Tony Robbins.
Yeah, we've both done a bunch of events, right?
But her new book, and she struggled with that even when she was making million from out of her house. She struggled with feeling worthy, and that book is good. So I bought all my spray tan partners that are coming into for our Beet retreat in May, our 10th anniversary. That's what I bought them, is that book.
Have you read the Keith Cunningham book that I gave you yet?
Yes, I have. Yes, I'm on the second, and not only
that's good. That's a great business book for anybody.
Not only have I read it, he ended up speaking at the thing that I went to, the Tony Robbins thing that I went to, but also I've bought it as gifts for people many times. Yeah. Many times. And I have another book of his too. Yeah. I did read the
He
book.
tries to make
I
things
read a lot more now than I used to. It's
me
almost
as well.
like meditative for me, for sure.
It's soothing in that, okay, it's okay. You're safe. Everything's okay. People like Keith Cunningham are making complicated business topics accessible to someone like me that doesn't have as much confidence as I think everyone else outside of me has. So I think you know all
the way he
all
explains the cash flow in a balance sheet was like I was a kindergartner, but I finally freaking got it.
Yes, exactly. And you don't have to be an expert at it just to be able to have a conversation.
Right.
That's like half the battle.
Yeah, you should see my book. It has Post-its all in it. Because sometimes in the moment, like reading, that's where I feel the weakest is when I'm sitting there with the bookkeeper at the counter and they're explaining to me that stuff. Even though I've read that book twice, even though in the moment I'll get that like anxious feeling and I feel lost, like just that quick with numbers. And you know, I'm getting now. I take a breather and take a step back and get away from the people. It's something about the pressure of sitting there.
Yes.
So I know that's how I'm going to, rather than having them explain it to me in their way, I'll go away, study it myself, process it the way that I process it, and I'll listen to I recorded his clip because, you know, I was at Tony Robbins virtually, the last one.
Right.
And he was there.
Yeah, for the UPW.
And I recorded it on the screen when he was on there.
That's good.
Because the way he teaches is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel like an idiot with money just because you don't understand the cash flow sheet, which is the way I felt. I felt not enough. I felt stupid. I felt like I was never going to grow the company. Yeah. I felt like a bartender with a company. That's the way I still feel that way sometimes.
Well, my perception is that everyone that I see as successful or achieving or grinding and getting somewhere, that somehow they just have this magic sauce. And that they don't have trials and tribulations, or they don't have a book that they need to read, or they don't, or that they're not ever confused, or you know, or they haven't been financially taken advantage of. And more often than not, I have found that those folks that I particularly look up to in their various lives have had all of those things. They've had financial devastation. They've had people take advantage of them. They've had hurt. They've had wounds. and they've worked through them, challenging or not. And through all that, that's how they learn, and that's how they become more.
Unfortunately, that is how you learn. I'm taking a deep breath as I'm agreeing with you because it is so true.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I wanted this podcast, because I wanted to give local business owners a voice, because as a way to give back, because the people just like the day I sat down with you at the Grove, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm normal. And it wasn't just you, the universe, God has given me people over and over and over again that have been like, made me feel normal, or guided me, or mentored me, or said one thing. Sometimes it's just one little thing that's like, oh, okay. I'm not a failure. I'm not this. The failure, my favorite thing is failure is learning. I learned that from my business coach, because I'm hard on myself.
Yeah, I understand.
And I think we all are, but it's so cool that I think it's becoming more popular to say things like this, where
to be transparent about the journey of wherever we're at.
Where I think before you did think someone had some secret sauce.
You just used your
swagger.
They're
so lucky.
Oh, yeah, we got it. We got the best staff. We got the best bar. We got the best everything. And we do have all those things. And they came through a process. They came through life unfolding, taking chances,
and
taking a risk.
And you do need the community of other business owners around you, especially in the same city. Like that's what makes local. So, I mean, and you've watched it. I mean, I just walked parking in front of the bar just now. I'm like, my gosh, that building's done. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming up. Yeah. I don't know what all's going in there, but
a lot of development, a lot of restaurants.
I know there's a cool restaurant out of Charleston going right there.
Yep, the Downtown Oyster Company.
Yep.
We're excited when they get open. They got a bad hand, trying to open that during COVID. And I can't imagine the amount of money invested in holding costs to do that property. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to them opening.
Yeah, well, they've got a good neighbor. You guys always have a line out the door on the weekend. Yeah. And how have you seen, just talking about Savannah, how have you seen, Congress Street is so different.
Holy cow. It's
so different just from when I lived right there.
Yeah, now it's the Congress Street, it's changing again. I was speaking with a restaurateur the other day, and he said the makeup of downtown is changing again. So the big conversation the last 5-10 years, tourism. That being said, it's shifting again. We can see a change in people, how they're spending money, and we know it's an election year. Regardless of that election year, we can sense that people's habits have forever changed for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
And what do you like
they are all about enjoying their life, having experiences. They are not doing them for as long of a time. So like in this business, for instance, people aren't staying out as late.
Gotcha.
So even the younger folks, they're starting to go home around 1 or 2. Which
also,
I find
the cost
interesting.
of everything, so they have to get up and go to work.
Or whatever they're doing. I don't know, yeah.
But I think it's a combo of like being more aware of their health, and that's got to be what it is. Like, I think COVID kind of woke people up, and they
quality of life is a big topic with all generations. And I don't really know about balance. I'm really questioning the whole idea of, I want balance in my life. It's just choices. Yeah. It's just choices. And, sometimes you grind and you work because you have an achievement that you want to make. And then sometimes you pull back and you go ahead and take vacations or with your family. But yeah, the landscape on how people are spending money in our area is changing very much. And we're seeing it. And even with the hotels being highly occupied, what they're spending money is a little unpredictable and it's a little unsure. And so we're figuring out how to stay the same, do whatever we do well, but adapt as much as we can without compromising your brand, right? So so like with your product, I think it's great because it's like natural. It's like no chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So you're like, I am this, right? And so as that type of mindset or that type of need or that type of product is desired, it's going to keep evolving. And so you figure out, what is it about me, my strength, and what we do really well that we keep? And then what part of my business do we adapt a little bit? Yeah. And you may not be able to adapt a lot, but just a little bit of adaptation. So like for a bar like this, it's, carrying certain products like the High Noons and the White Claws and that you traditionally wouldn't find in a mom and pop bar.
Yeah.
But you
guys do.
You start to adapt.
Anybody
to some
can
of
walk
those,
in and comfortably find something that they
yeah,
like.
you start to figure out, okay, I can
true.
adapt to some of the trends. I can
Yeah.
adapt to some of the fads.
I'm the queen of pivot.
Yeah, pivot. That's queen pivot.
I'm the queen of that.
Yeah.
That's why Beettan grew. When one part wasn't making money, I had to figure out. Then I was like, okay, I'll try wholesale.
Yes.
When I accidentally listened to a terrible marketer and he had me order my first 10,000 units, I'd never, in my apartment. I kept it in my apartment.
Yeah.
And I just sat. I think that's when we met. I was just sitting there watching these self-tanners in boxes, and I had to look at those mofos every day. It was on my way to the bathroom every morning to get my coffee. I just stare at those damn.
Did it motivate you to say, I have to move these units?
And then a local Ted, that's actually how Ted and I met. He said, I think you need to try wholesale. If you've got that many units, you need to try wholesale. He had me walk a trade show. His people, he connected me with he has an amazing sales team, and I got rid of it. And then when I ran out of them, I was like, I have to buy more now. But I was like, am I anxious about that? Then now I fixed the problem.
Yeah.
So I love that and see, we have totally different businesses and we can relate on having to pivot and adapt. But if you get stuck in your ways,
sell product.
if you get stuck in the way you've been doing things, she's been open almost 30 years, you probably won't make it because everything, look how much everything's changed in 5 years.
Yes, quite a bit.
The last episode I did with Emily that owns Mamie Ruth, and she has the new mess hall hat bar right here now. She crushed it, and she's been studying and pivoting and going more experiential within retail because she's like, retail is boring. They don't want to go and move clothes around. They can just get it online. Everything's so accessible online now. She's got to create an experience.
I would agree.
So she's done that, and she's done really well at that. And then I have another friend who has a retail store downtown, and she says something's changed. The hotels are fully booked. And this is why I wish we had more meetings as local businesses, because how can we together come up with ideas? Like, I can't go in and help her with her business. I don't have the time. But I think sometimes the words and the guidance and the knowledge that we all separately know, we can come together and help so that the doors on that business do not close down. You know?
Like, it's not your business. It's not my business. It's the shifting on how people are spending their time, day, and money in a new way. And it's like, okay, we all are in different industries. We're all starting to share this and put our vulnerabilities on the table, and like, okay, this is not just a food and beverage industry issue. This is all the issues. And you look at, like, the last 2 days, I think the hotels have been booked at 90% and the streets have been quiet. So where are they? Are they in a conference somewhere? If they are, great. If they're working, great.
We don't know.
Right.
It is.
Are those numbers accurate? Maybe we need to go back and look at the people that are producing those numbers that we rely on to buy our products and do our promotions, and just say, hey, we just want to check those numbers.
Good point.
And by talking to other industry folks in and out of our industry, we can gain insights.
Yeah, and it's really helpful. I mean, when I was sitting there with my friend who's like, I don't know where they are, she's revamping her brand. So she's pivoting. She's doing something to, I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to ever put anybody on blast that's struggling right now. But she's been around a long time, and she's having some issues getting people in the door, and she keeps up with the hotels being booked. And she comes to me, gets a spray tan, and usually people vent to me when they get a spray tan because they're butt ass naked too. So they're as vulnerable as they can get. So they just unload. And she stayed after her appointment and talked to me for about 30 minutes. And I was like, I have a service. So that's what the retail doesn't fly on the shelf at.
Right. My
online store does well. The service does well here. Yeah. I make the majority of the money off the service, which is essentially an experience of some sort. So it's all in line.
Like a pedicure or like having your hair done. If it's something that I can't produce at home, with the same quality or the same convenience, or the same scheduling, then I'm more likely to spend money on it.
Right. And you guys do that really well here. I mean, you have the theme nights. The free chicken Friday is awesome. I mean, you think you have these things that people look forward to. Right.
Or if you miss home. If you miss home, you could come here and it feels a little homey.
I mean, I have some bars around my house where I know the bartender, so I go in there to see them because it's convenient. Jane's, the owner of Savoy, also does really good theme nights. She does some different menu on Monday. So I'll go on Monday because she switches it up. Right. But you notice if you see a place that does the same thing
Mm-hmm.
every time, that those chains aren't doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't because there's no,
Well,
unless they're doing
providing
trivia night or something.
Yeah, they're providing certainty for certain types of people, which is great.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah, they go in, they know what they have.
Whatever mood you're in,
Yeah.
If you want that steak and potato exactly the
I just
same,
think
you
our
go to
attention
Outback.
span is just like,
Yeah.
we need the jukebox, the dartboard. We need
the random. we need the
we can
variety
go to the courtyard
and
they're
certainty.
singing. We can come in here. I mean, you really do
And
have
it's
it all.
hard. It used to be very straightforward. People want this product. They want a candle. They want to buy a gift. And now we're not quite sure what people
We're
want.
too stimulated.
Yes. Well, somebody said that, all of the conveniences that we have that are really great in this first world country, like we have all these conveniences, that what it's doing is satiating our need, and we either reject it and don't want it, or we're getting more of it in a different way.
And yeah, don't even get me started on like the
We could have
telephone. The
podcasts
telephone. I mean, the telephone stuff. Like
Yeah.
I have to now put my phone in another room because I will check every text, every email. That also gives there is no sense of urgency for me to answer someone's email about a self tanner on the website that they can't figure out how to work the pump. I'm just making this up. This hasn't happened at midnight. But if it's by my head, I will answer that person on that website because I get the ding.
This is the first time in my life I'm thinking I don't have the solution for it, but I thought I might just want to get a separate cell phone for my personal life. And then I can just put my professional phone away.
That way you can.
I'm sure there's all other alternatives to that, but I need something hard to say, I'm done. The next 4 hours are mine. My family's,
Right.
And I'm sure there's a way to do that. But for me, maybe I just need to get a separate phone.
Yeah.
Whatever works, whatever
I have
works to
two
achieve
phones.
your
I
objective.
can't remember the other one.
And it's like with your friend that's got the business, it's like somebody told me, what is your objective, Trina? And I was like, this was just recently. It's like, well, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure that out. And they go, well, what's your objective? I went, what do you mean? They go, don't change something. Don't create a problem that's not there.
I like that.
If you don't have an objective, a lot of people say outcome, but an objective to back it up. So if I'm like, it's slow, the business is unpredictable, we got to do something. Well, what do we got to do?
Right.
Why do we got to do it? Are you not able to pay your rent? Are you not able to pay your plant? No, I'm able to pay them. What's the problem? Well, I just want to get ahead of any sort of slow down trend. So it's like, well, what's your objective? My objective is to have a financially stable business. Is it financially stable? Yes. Okay, you don't have a problem. You can observe the trends, see how they affect you. Now, if we were in a different situation and we were vulnerable and we were losing cash flow, then we got to do something, right? Maybe have less inventory, maybe see what kind of cost breakdowns we can get, figure out if labor can be
increase
readjusted.
prices.
Yes.
That's hard to do as a business owner.
Increasing prices. I'm not a real fan of it right now.
It took me 6 years and I was getting charged more and I just wouldn't do it. And then finally, it took me 8 years for the service.
Yeah. I'm
still cheaper than my competitors.
It's tough to raise prices, especially knowing what folks' budgets are and things like that.
Yeah, we're in the same mindset on that for sure. And especially since you gain these bonds with these normal patrons and for me clients. And I don't know, I'd
rather see you 3 times a week for short visits than 1 time a month for multiple reasons.
Gotcha.
Sure, if we're talking about financial cash flow, yes. But any business succeeds and flourishes with repeat customers. And when you have repeat customers and you've created that relationship, that pays dividends on both sides for a long time. Getting the new customer is great influx of revenue and cash, but the repeat customer is what provides stability and provides longevity for the business.
And is the spirit of the business.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing those people.
Those imprints start to become the culture and start to become the fun
exactly.
and the lifeblood of the business.
So see, we don't have it figured out. I think to sum up this podcast episode, and I would definitely want to do another one. And I love your idea for having Swanee on here. I'll say a prayer about that one.
Yeah.
No, I love this place so much. This is, one of my definite favorites. I have so many memories here. But I think what I really love about Trina is she is authentic. She is an open book. She'll tell it like it is, from all standpoints, the good, the bad. We're all just trying to make it here. in the business world. And I love how more and more people are coming out and saying, I struggle with this. These are my strengths. A little conversation like this, which is why I love this podcast so much. A little conversation might just give someone hope. And you gave me hope. There's a few people in my life, you're one of them, who in weird moments, I needed hope. And it's like, it sounds so strong and dramatic and emotional, but when you're going through it, you need just that little, everything's going to be okay. Yeah. This is normal. You're learning from this. Yep. And where a lot of people would shut the doors and give up. And maybe they wouldn't have if they just had the right voice in their ear, you know? There's a power to someone being vulnerable and honest. It can help someone. Yeah. There's a lot of power in that than just pretending like you have it all
Everything's
together.
All figured out.
Because we all know nobody
You're
does.
a dodo. You don't have it figured out. I got it all figured out. Look at me. No, that's not the way anymore. It's
really not.
And it doesn't get you anywhere anyways, because a lot of times when you think you're helping somebody, they're actually helping you right back. So
absolutely. Yeah.
So I do all the things. Sure. I ask everybody questions.
I know. That's what I love about you. I do. Well, I definitely want to have you back on because there's so much more to say. And
tell stories. We'll tell stories, bar stories.
Yes, that's what we need to do. We need to just have a fun bar story night because I have them in here, and you all will too that are listening. You can't walk in here and not have an experience. It's just a great bar. And she does more too. She does real estate. You're a landlord. Yeah. She's not just the rail owner. She's got her. You do a lot. Like I said, she gave me one of my first listings, which helped pay for Beettan. The bank wouldn't give me a loan, so I just started doing real estate.
Real estate to get those units, buy those units and sell them.
Well, what is your social media? Where can they follow you?
It's the railpub.com is the website for all those old school people that still look at websites. Yeah. We have Instagram and for the really old people, Facebook. And I think that's it.
No TikTok?
No TikTok.
Yet.
We need a TikTok dance or a TikTok challenge or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
I personally look at TikTok because I find it fascinating. Like how
it's like short TV. Actually,
short TV. Yeah,
it's like short TV.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I like the shorts. I like the short videos on YouTube, the shorts on Instagram and TikTok, and I find it fascinating to look at that. And I wonder what the labor hour input is on that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Yeah. She helped. For a fascinating
Missy
20, 30 second slot. Yeah, there you go.
Miss of the podcast producers, always her voice is behind the scenes, but she helps me with mine. And sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. I don't care if it messes my algorithm up. I make the choice to not do the TikTok that day because I get infuriated
about doing it.
About doing it, how I have to do it after. I turn into the devil, and I'm like, I think I need to take a break, and she's like, I think so too.
I love the filming of it. I like the creative aspect of it. Way back during MySpace days when we did it, it was like fun. It was like, oh, this is great. As a business owner with the time and the schedule, it's like, what is the
I just feel like it's such a waste. Like,
what's the ROI on it?
I know the product on. Yeah, it's real. Tutorials are really good. So in the beauty world, like I should be putting mousse on one leg, and we will set up all day, and my brain goes to mush, and I get so pissed off. One time I put mousse on one ass cheek and not the other, and I was like sitting there like, I'm doing this for views. This is I didn't even end up using it because I felt like such a dumbass. Like I'm 40 years old. I don't want to have my ass cheeks on TikTok. In theory, I thought it was a good idea. And then when it played out, I was like, I'm not putting my ass on TikTok. I'm just not doing that.
Yeah. So, I think it builds brands awareness. I think it builds goodwill. And then I think with retail item products, it can build some ROI for sure. And then you balance that with time and budget.
Emily with Mess Hall, she had a huge week, the week of St. Pat's. Yeah. And she had a TikTok that went viral, 600,000 views. Oh, wow, that's fun. She had a line out the door every single day. Fun. So there is power in TikTok. Yeah. Her stuff is like kitschy and wonderful, and like it's an activity. So that TikTok worked in her favor, and then me, the friend, and me and her are a bit competitive. We're in a healthy way. Like, what's your business doing? What's your business doing? Like, we get ideas from each other. Our business is in Drain Tower next door to each other. So of course I'm like, I need to do the TikTok, and then I'm like, ugh, I hate the TikTok. I hate to do it. So do whatever works for you. But I will say where I was going with that was Swanee is really fun to watch.
Yeah. And she's got good stories and she's got great delivery in her point of view. Way more exciting than,
She's just quirky and creative in the best way.
I would agree.
And she matches the vibe here. It's she's fun to watch. I go to her personal page too. She's fun to watch. So, all right. Well,
super random.
We'll follow Trina. We'll definitely have her back on, and maybe we'll have the great Swanee
anybody
on
come
too.
by if you want to talk business or,
She's the best. Yeah.
Talk about imposter syndrome. I'm your girl.
She's great. She's an open book. She's really encouraging and wonderful. So thanks for
you.
coming on.
All right. Well, thanks for asking me. It was fun.
Of course.